This is Robin coming to you from a very rainy Blighty base. It's all me by myself because Michelle will be along through the magic of time and recording in just a second, and with her is Richard. We are delighted to have probably one of the most colourful, exciting and controversial characters from this year's 90 Day Fiance UK on the show today. The last thing you want to hear is me wittering and wittering when frankly there's so much lovely, juicy, brilliant stuff to come. So I'll bugger off, eh? Somehow I've got to get back into the house without getting drenched. Wish me luck. We wanted to start this off while he's in the room with me, with our little Alfie, because we have him on the pod occasionally. Do you ever listen, Richard? Do you ever listen to our nonsense?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, yours is certainly one of the ones that I watch out for. I find it highly entertaining and informative, and you two are lovely, and you've got some great stories to tell.
Oh, thanks, man.
Thank you.
Well, you will know that in the interest of protecting our little man's anonymity, we are calling him Alfie because he reminds us massively of your Alfie.
So much like your Alfie.
Come into shot, kiddo.
Hiya, Alfie. You all right?
That's not my name, but hi.
Hiya, Alfie. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Yeah. Now, you're just as sassy as Richard. We fell madly in love with Alfie when he was first on screen because he is the sassiest kid on TV and he's adorable. And you remind us of his Alfie because you both call it like you see it. You've got sharp little tongues in your mouths.
Oh, competition.
It's called grinding and we're trying to beat the tryhards. That's what it's all about. I'm loving your little hairdo as well, by the way. You look exactly like my Alfie.
Right?
Yeah, he's pretty fly. Got it done yesterday.
Pretty
you got
fly.
Any questions for Richard? Richard's on the telly. Do you want to be on the telly one day? You're not asked.
No.
Richard also has a very fetching pair of like Union Jack or Union Flag, as I should say, underpants. I know that your underpants are in a terrible state of repair. If we replaced your whole pant library with Union Flag ones, would that be all right?
No.
They need Harry Potter. He needs Harry Potter or some kind of DC superheroes.
Yeah, Johnson Potter or DC superhero pants. Why am I talking about your pants?
I still wear them nowadays, to be fair. I mean, that's just what you buy from the shop, isn't it?
Oh, we wouldn't know because Robin hasn't bought a new pair of pants since 2012. So
Robin's a commando guy.
I focus my underwear budget on socks. This has been well established.
Do you not find it gets a bit drafty, though, in shorts?
I work from home, man. The need for underpants is not what it used to be.
He has so many socks that I found a sock on the top of my wardrobe 3 days in a row.
What?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, there was a sock on top of my wardrobe.
You're starting to sound a bit like me, Robin. Let me just check. Michelle, do you find Robin's socks all over the place, and do you collect them for him, or do you like scream at him?
Shit.
I do the laundry, so that's my job.
Excellent.
And I'm happy to pick up the socks because
I'd like to clarify, you want to do the laundry.
Just like I do. That's exactly what I do throughout this entire thing, because it is all based upon what Kathleen wants to do for me. And nobody's picked that up except you and a couple of other YouTubers. And it's like, hang on, let's take a step back here. I'm not the male chauvinist that everybody thinks I am.
No.
All I'm doing is explaining to you what Kathleen does for me and wants to do for me. And it's beautiful. It's magical. Couldn't ask for any more.
I do most other things, though, right? I do a lot, right?
What do you do, Robin? What's on your list?
Well, it wouldn't be for me to say.
You do bins,
and
you do dishes,
cook a
because
little
I
more.
don't do dishes. You cook way more than I do because I don't cook. I'm like you, Richard. I just not interested.
Well, I get those silver trade meals and very, very quick to eat, 30 minutes in an oven. Jobs are good, and I can cook, but I'm no chef. I
do the ironing. I feel like I'm justifying myself now.
Which part of wife have we got mixed between the two of you, eh?
Uh-oh.
All right, we're going to war, kiddo. Come and say goodbye to lovely Richard.
Bye, Alfie.
Okay.
Thanks, Bim Bam. Okay. Alfie has now officially left the building. Let's look, we've started it, haven't we? So should we just deal with the giant elephant in the room?
What, my naked body?
No. let's put the sexism thing to bed. Because we should, right? Because that's
frustrating.
the elephant.
Yeah.
Okay. What frustrates you?
It just frustrates me that people don't see the full side of the story. They just pick up on something for them to become really offended at, which I'm great at, by the way. Thinking and conducting lines that I can just deliver, and it's a mic drop moment. And then the rest of the entire section is basically I'm lying. So it doesn't matter what else I'll say because the original statement was harsh enough that just has sent everybody kind of steaming at me, and that's fine. But to call somebody a sexist and to put somebody in the same realm as people like Andrew Tate, I actually find that really offensive because I'm nothing like these people. And all I'm really doing is I'm saying to the camera and telling the audience our story about the kind of things that Kathleen does for me or wants to do for me. And you know what? As a boyfriend, I'm really excited about that because I've never found a woman that meets all of my needs, exceeds my needs, and then picks up my shit for me. Oh, can we say shit, Robin? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
right,
you can
cool.
swear.
We
It's
very
fine.
fucking
Yeah.
much can. Yeah.
Great. I'm in good company then.
Now, this is not your first kind of showbiz-like gig. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got into entertainment in general, how you got into doing pub quizzes and things like that?
Well, I mean, it stems back from being a boy, doesn't it? I think entertainment. I mean, I got my first set of Technics 1210s when I was 15, and I was into the hardcore dance scene, annoying all my neighbours. And I was that annoying guy that had a massive sound system blaring tunage out of his window, and that kind of progressed for many, many years, doing lots and lots of different things. But then I got to a point in my life where I needed to rein my evenings back in, or rather, rein my weekends more back in, because being a wedding entertainer, you tend to work Saturdays, Sundays. That was when all the work was. And that's when I had Alfie at the time. Now I have him 1 week with me, 1 week with his mum, but he's a bit older and that's what he asked for. But at the time I only had him at weekends. So me going out to host weddings and private functions, it was taking the time away and the only time that I had with Alfie. So I wanted to kind of go a little bit into something slightly different, which would give me my weekends free. And pub quiz, while it was much less money, actually it still managed to provide me with a standard of living. And have my weekends free because nobody does a pub quiz on a weekend. Sometimes they do it on Sundays. And then really it sort of stemmed from there. I was just good at my job. People engaged with me. We filled up pubs. More pubs asked me. I recruited. That's when the whole brand scenario came. And then eventually, because we needed it, we just created the software for us to use and other people to use too. So it kind of just grew and grew and grew. And while COVID was massively detrimental financially, COVID actually gave us the kick up the backside that we needed to be really creative and create something that you can quiz online or quiz in a venue, sort of without limitations. And because that was all I knew at the time, it just made sense for us to go down that route, really.
If I was going to develop your app, I think I'd need like a holographic Richard that can projected out, and there'll be a little toggle switch for whether you want him nude or not.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, actually. When you're talking about holographs, one of my ex-girlfriends, probably one of the ones that wasn't too hard, was a HoloLens developer and holographic developer over at... she used to work at GTA and the Angry Birds people, and used to do all the...
wow.
all the mixed reality stuff, and was starting to build out holographic projections of things for universities and museums and stuff. Really clever girl. That's why she probably binned me off, to be honest.
Just going back to COVID for a moment, can you tell us a little bit about why you and how you ended up sending Kathleen money? Because there's sort of like a lot of questions around that time in your relationship.
Would you like me to start from the beginning then of the breakup?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's probably a good place.
Throw it back to sometime in 2019. Me and Kathleen were together. We were in the Philippines. I'd lost my phone. So I ended up borrowing Kathleen's phone and logging in my Google, logging in my Facebook, because I needed to have access, obviously, to all of my contacts, and let people know that I was uncontactable because I didn't have a phone. And from there, really, that's the start of the problem. We got to the stage where I went home, and then I got a new telephone. At this point, me and Kathleen were applying for visas for Kathleen to come to the country on a tourist visa. Kathleen's tourist visa got declined. I then felt a little bit hopeless. I felt that this relationship wasn't going to go the way that I wanted it to go, or the way that I needed it to go. And some of that is actually brought into this final episode, or this episode 9 that we've just been watching, where I'm talking with the uncles, because the relationship became pointless because we could never be together. We were just having problems about just living together in the same country. At this point, I probably should have broken up with Kathleen, but I didn't. Me and Kathleen were still in communication. I downloaded some dating apps, and I was trying to open my options and keep my options open, shall we say. However, I used to play a little game as well between some of my friends. So it was, guess, is it a ladyboy or isn't it a ladyboy? So I was screenshotting pictures they are the most beautiful of women, but they're ladyboys. And I was asking my friends to guess if they were ladyboys or not ladyboys. And none of them ever got it right, by the way, because they were so gorgeous. But those photos were syncing back to Kathleen's telephone. And after this,
Oh no.
yeah. And that's when we had that awkward conversation about what I was up to and my infidelity. And yeah, that was quite awful. It was awful of me to do so, but it was also really awkward too. I mean, I should have broken up with her at the time when we realized that we weren't going to be going back together.
Right. So it was more that you had synced your Google account,
Yeah.
which would have had your photos in it, and it's the cloud.
Yeah, my story sort of ended with Kathleen there. Then obviously I went off dating whoever. I was a free spirit and I was single. I met a girl in Malaysia, went over there. Long story short, she wasn't Kathleen, and I didn't have the same experience that I'd had with Kathleen. And so when we talk about compromise, so I ended up being in a compromising position that actually me going and doing that made me love Kathleen more. And I know it sounds crazy, but it made me miss her. It made me want to be with her. And because of that, it was right up until COVID anyway. So I was in Thailand in March 2019, Malaysia, and then we went on a holiday in Thailand. And it was right when COVID hit. Now, my business was about to suffer, but the whole world was shutting down. And Kathleen's work, because she doesn't work as a nurse, she works as she's kind of a hustler. So she sells products to. Do you know, like Kathleen's store that she's got? Well, she used to make products in her house, so different food items and things like that. Things called crab paste, and it's probably one of the most disgusting things that I've ever eaten is this crab paste. And then deliver them to all these small stores and work as kind of a reseller. So she was doing that, but once COVID happened, you weren't allowed outside of the area.
Yeah.
So Kathleen's work and income just completely dried up. I didn't quite know that. That's what I found out later was happening anyway. So
Good time.
I did want
good times for the crabs, though.
a good time for the crabs, yeah.
Yeah.
The crabs didn't get as killed as much. Happy Crab Sunday,
Right.
and so yeah. So I just thought she'd blocked me on everything, and I needed to reach out to her some way. And also, I don't think I could have lived because none of us knew it was going to be as long as it was going to happen. COVID, you know. So I wanted to make sure that she survived, if you get me. So I wanted to make sure that she didn't because she'd lost everything, that she could at least afford to feed herself and things like this, because it wasn't just her. It was in the Filipino household, you need about 3 or 4 incomes to actually pay all the bills, because Filipino incomes are so low that the father has to work, the children has to work, you know, for them all to accumulate their income together to basically just pay the basic bills of food, electricity, and the stuff that we take for granted because we've got excess cash. They don't have any excess cash. So it's really, really hard for them. So I knew that my money would be quite a nice, a big help for her.
And you still loved her, right?
Of course. Well, the whole Malaysia thing made me realize that I loved her more.
Yeah, the idea of somebody you love suffering, how could you not?
Exactly. But also, I ended up employing Kathleen within my company because because Kathleen's money. So once we started talking again and we got back on a talkie stage, you know, and we were our foundations were beginning to firm up. There was obviously the problem longer term of lack of income, lack of jobs. So I gave Kathleen a job, and Kathleen worked within the administration department. I did have to make a couple of people redundant in the UK. So she was filling a need because I needed to save money on the other end, you know. So, but she still came to support me and support the business and help us get through our difficult time.
That's really touching. And also, like, amazing that frankly, that she took you back, but also that she was willing to, help you with your business. How did that kind of change the dynamic of your relationship? At that point, were you more thinking, okay, we're just going to be like mates and work together, or did that bring you closer romantically as well?
So what I made sure was that I made sure that I wasn't her boss. So there'd be no conflict of interest. There'd be no sort of me giving her a kind of an easy ride, so to speak, for the job that she needs to be done. So I could just remain firmly within the partner department, and she had a boss.
Okay.
So it brought us closer together because we've been close anyway, and it's never been a case where we've been distant with each other. We've always just been having the same goal.
So I guess the way some people see it is when like money changes hands, they feel, oh, it's a transactional thing. But from our perspective, this has always been like one of many ways in which no one's given you the benefit of the doubt. I mean, you know how we feel. You can be your own worst enemy. And you know, the desire to entertain. Because again, if you listen to the pod, you probably heard me say, like, sometimes you say shocking things because they get the biggest laughs, and whether or not you really believe something is quite a mutable thing. These things change. I mean, back in the days when I used to be a critic, and if I slightly liked something but wasn't mad about it, I might say really horrible things because it was just a lot. It's funnier, right? And my job was to entertain my readers,
Yes.
and viewers on TV, like much more than it is really to tell the truth. So I know you see it as a bit of a persona that you play. What is the difference between the Richard that we see on TV and the actual you?
I think that in my life, I've experienced enough and I've seen enough, and I've seen so many offensive T-shirts and other things. But because I've just, I suppose I am a little bit negative about dating British women and the UK dating scenario. You know, it's really just taken its toll on me over like a 5-year period of me being single. It just all the time it's a waste of time. The expectations are, at a level that I don't think most of these people will ever find the right boy for them. You go through the same thing. You spend about a week talking on whichever dating app you're doing. Then you'll go and have a first date. You've got about 2 hours to become the best friend, to find some kind of spark in it, as well in a no atmosphere environment like a coffee shop. And it's like, how can you show the best of you when you literally are at stage one? And that's when you don't tend to get past the stage one, date one. You never move on to date two, and you don't. You just waste then another couple of weeks talking to somebody else. So
I mean, on our first date, my first date with Robin, I flirted with the waiter
He
immediately,
was very, very handsome.
just so that he knew how replaceable he was. I'm totally kidding.
In
No,
your face, handsome waiter.
I agree with you completely. I think that unfortunately I don't know if it's the immediacy of online dating or the fact that you can that there are just so many options
Yeah.
and so many choices in terms of apps, and probably even more so even than when Robin or I were on them. But the problem, I think, and I don't think it's a woman only thing, is that people don't bother to learn enough about themselves
Mm,
to really know what it is that they
I agree.
want and what they don't want. And one of the things that endeared uh, you, Richard, to me immediately was that you knew what you wanted and you were unapologetic about it.
I think
And you weren't making that someone else's problem. You were saying, "This is what I want. This is what I know about myself,
exactly.
and I'm not gonna
Yeah,
change."
and I don't think I have to change. I think we're all individuals and we're all human and we all want something. And you, uh, we can throw this in many different angles as well, because if you look upon the show, Bridie's making food for Host, Bridie's ironing Host's shirt. Emma and the beauty assistant were talking about, are you excited to do his cooking and cleaning and stuff like that? I think the problem lies in when a man says it. And when a man says it, everybody throws their toys out of the pram and starts kicking off, because how dare a man say that to me as a woman? And women have fought for many, many years for equality, and that's absolutely right. And equality is there, but sometimes you've just got to step back and just say, actually, for this boy, I'm happy to pick up his socks for him.
Have you stepped back, and when you've seen some of this stuff on TV, have you thought, you know what? Even inside myself, I might have overstepped a line there. I didn't really like the wife acronym springs to mind, right?
Well,
It's a
I
lot.
mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, the wife acronym was literally, it's locker room talk between guys. Guys say it to guys. It's funny in certain scenarios. I think the scenario that I said it in probably wasn't very funny, and that's why I've been berated over the internet about it. But realistically, it's just a T-shirt slogan. It's like a bumper sticker slogan.
Yeah.
That probably shouldn't be said, but fuck it, I've said it now, so I need to own it.
You do, but like, is there a bit of you that feels I can probably change? I'm still really funny, and I'm still me without that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I am funny without that. But
Yeah.
now that I've said it, I can't take it away, can I?
No,
So
no, you can't. But like, I'm always interested, like for shows like this, where the people
hindsight.
sort of, yeah, people see themselves and they go, this can actually be really good because it's like it's the best mirror, right? And you sort of go, you
Yeah.
know what? I might not do that anymore because that is really how I feel, you know?
After episode 1 or episode 4 of me, I was like, I needed to turn the internet off for a period of time. I just couldn't
Yeah.
I came barging in like with a big fuck you to everybody, and it was like,
Yeah.
There are some questions that I would like to ask about you, Richard.
Of course.
What is your favorite word?
Oh, oh my god! Don't think. Is this like the butterfly test where? Oh, is it? See this ink, and what does it spell out?
A Rorschach. We're not
My
going to diagnose you. No.
I assure
My
you,
favourite
no, this
word.
isn't a.
I think it's got to be bollocks, because it's just a great word that explains so many different scenarios, and it's the story of my life.
It's funny bollocks, isn't it? Because it can be
It
like
is.
positive or negative, right? You can say that's the bollocks, which
Yeah.
means that's brilliant, or that's a load of bollocks, which means it's the opposite.
Crap. Yeah.
What a great multi-purpose word that is.
The art of swearing.
What is your least favorite word?
My least favourite word. Well, the problem with least favourite words is that they're not usually repeatable words, are they? I suppose if I'm going down the same elements. I mean, I don't like the C word. Sorry, there was an ambulance. Somebody in somebody's background. I don't.
That was someone
like
censoring the C word.
Right.
Yeah, I don't like the see you next Tuesday. That's probably going to be my least favourite word.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Oh, well, spiritually, not very much, but I tend to revert to the I accept you for who you are, and if you want to be spiritual, I'll support your spiritual journey. What turns me on emotionally is somebody that's got the emotional strength to support me through my darkest moments, because we all have bad days. You know, we're I think you hit a certain age and we've all got our concerns and worries. And what was the other one? Emotional, spiritual, and
Creatively.
oh, creatively. I like a nice design, but although I can't design myself in Photoshop. But you know, I've got I use branding. I know it's so boring, but sometimes you just look at something and say that's sexy.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Oh. Tony Robinson did a great one, didn't he? The worst jobs in the world. I can't remember I do some really, just to help out with people, I do some really mad stuff. Is it a job that I would like or a job that I wouldn't like? I've gone off on a tangent there about thinking about jobs that I wouldn't like to do. But
Yeah, what would you love?
So I moved out of the corporate realm a long time ago. I think that I'd probably like to be. I'm in entertainment. I like hosting game shows. I'd probably like to do something like Greg Davis's Taskmaster or something along those kind of lines, and lead a show and create some great comedy from it.
There's you do give off pretty big Greg Davis energy. I don't think it'll mean a lot to our American listeners, but there's a lot of
Oh,
that
it's
in you.
hilarious.
No, but you said that early on,
What?
didn't you? Didn't you,
Oh, I did
Robin?
say that. Yeah.
What sound or noise do you love?
I love I love the word when I hear it, dad. So,
Oh, mate.
yeah. I kind of get all gooey about that one. Whether it's to me or it's to somebody else, because I fought so hard to be a parent that word really is, it does have a specific meaning to me. So yeah, dad or daddy, it lightens up my day.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
See, I'm agnostic, so I probably don't even believe he's up there. But I respect other people that do believe. I mean, what I would hope, if there was some kind of a higher being and I was stood at some pearly gates, about to be either welcomed or sent away to hell, would be, um, Richard, I've got a beer and it's on ice waiting for you.
That'd be all right, wouldn't it?
That'd be all right. I'd consider coming in.
You managed to control yourself. I thought really, and honestly, it was like a horror film watching like that last episode, because I kept thinking, there's no way you can get out of this drink without putting his foot in it. And it was just
Dude.
terrifying. But you did. So I have a
Yeah.
funny feeling that if you were sharing a beer with God, you might even be able to behave yourself.
I think I'd certainly have a go, but then I'd probably try, flirting with his wife or something at the same time, or one of his many virgins.
All
Are
right,
we
come in.
Kate Bushing in the background?
Yeah, she's Kate Bushing about you making a deal with God.
You
Getting
sound
it.
very good. Have you sung before, Michelle?
I have. I am a failed actress and singer.
The golden rule is never marry an actress. And
Aw.
And he didn't, so it's fine.
that's it. She's not an actress anymore, so I'm allowed.
There was one question that I was hoping to get out of one of your mouths, and that I
go on,
had a
then.
reasonable response to. What's something about you that the 90-day UK fandom would be surprised to learn?
Yes,
So
I
if
knew
one
I
of you
forgot.
hits me with that question.
Yeah, you go.
Okay, but I'm going to leave it in that you are controlling us because you have your own little agenda. So fine, Richard. I'll be your shill.
Ask me that question, baby.
Yeah, all right. So what thing about you would most surprise not only the 90-day audience, but our dear own listeners? What have
Aw.
they not twigged about you?
So what you've not twigged is that me and Kathleen can actually hire a cleaner if we need to, so stop breaking my balls.
I mean, we did wonder. We did wonder about that. Have you started to explore the cleaning opportunities in the area? Have you
If
asked
she-
Sean?
Well, looking at Sean's flat, I'm not sure that I think my dirty dishes ending up in a cupboard would disappoint me greatly. There's already multiple forms of mold growing in a couple of cups without Sean's dirty dishes.
Well, I have no idea. None of us have any idea, apart from the people that do have an idea. Maybe you do. I certainly don't. How much we're going to see of you, how long you're going to be in our lives, whether we're going to get to actually see you and Kathleen living together. I really hope we do, because
I hope so too.
yeah, what we want to see is the love, right? That's the thing. Honestly, like, much as we all get like a bit of a cheap thrill in a fun way over some of the drama and stuff. What is so special about this show, and Katie and Alejandro, another incredible example, it's seeing people falling in love in front of you is just the most extraordinary thing to capture on TV, and
It's very
it's
sexy.
it's so sexy. Look, there's a trashy side to this show and shows like this, but there is also a really profound side as well. And I can't wait, and I hope we get the opportunity to actually see, you two young lovers doing what young lovers do. And I don't mean it like that.
I'm sure you probably will do, but you've got to carry on watching the series to find out our story and how it develops.
Look, we adore the show, and you're clearly, one of the key stars on it, and you light up our Sundays. So thank you very much, pal.
Thank you very much, Robin, and cheers, Michelle.
Thank you so much. We'll make a pilgrimage to Preston.
Bloody hell.
I-
Could I keep up with Richard on the lash? I could do pub, kebab, strip club. I don't know if I could do all the
I
pubs.
could do pub. I don't think I could do the third pub.
Okay. All right.
I know all the best kebab shops.
Good. All right. Take care, man. We'll see you soon.
Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.